We are talking about the resources of Europe, the natural resources of Europe and Russia. So Chapter 6, Lesson 3 is on the natural resources of Europe and Russia. And in your graphic organizer, started with Western Europe. You had 3 vocab words: LOES, hydroelectric power, and fossil fuels. So that was the first piece of what you were supposed to take notes on. And so looking at that, LOES is rich, dust-like soil. It's good for farming. Comes from rivers. Hydroelectric power, power that's created by water-driven turbines. Usually that's with rivers, waterfalls, man-made dams. And then fossil fuels are energy formed by the remains of dead plants and animals millions of years ago. This includes gas, coal, and petroleum. For the second piece of this, you had to read and take notes. And it's not a very long section on Western Europe. But instead of just listing resources, what you really want to do is you want to make it something you can work with. And so rather than saying they have oil, gas, and coal, which is true in Western Europe, where do they have it? And so you find that in Norway and the United Kingdom. So if your notes don't look like this, now is the time to edit it. Remember, you can pause the video, you can write, and then you can come back. They also have farming, soil, water, and a great climate. In particular, the best place for that is the northern European plain, which is that region from the northern part of France and then all across the northern part of Western Europe on into Russia. So for Western Europe, you have LOES, hydroelectric power, and fossil fuels. Norway and the United Kingdom are the large deposits of oil, gas, and coal. You also would find coal deposits in the central uplands. If you remember where that is near the Alpine mountain system. And that's an area that's rich in those kind of deposits. If we take a look, I have a map. That's what you see. So if you look for coal and then hydroelectric power, so the coal you find here in the central uplands, along with some petroleum, a lot of petroleum out here in the North Sea. Most of these wells are owned by the United Kingdom. Hydroelectric power, you can produce that anywhere you have fast flowing water. So if you think about how the Alps mountains are right through here and water running downhill is going to go quickly, it makes sense to produce hydroelectric power there. Any place you have mountains, you have highlands, you'll have fast moving water. For Eastern Europe, Silesia is the border between the Czech Republic and Poland. You have large deposits of coal there, and that has been a long-term industrial center. You find industry where you find coal, because when industry began during the Industrial Revolution, coal is what you use to heat water and then make machinery move and eventually electricity. In the Ukraine, they have black soil, which is good for farming. They have large coal deposits there as well. And in the Balkan Peninsula, they have hydroelectric power. Remember, the Balkan Peninsula is down here. So when we're talking about Eastern Europe, we're essentially talking about this half. Moving into Russia, because Russia is one country, we have just a list. Russia has some unique resources, especially in the taiga. Remember, the taiga is that 4 million square mile forest in eastern Russia, which is Siberia. So lumber resources in Siberia. They have iron ore, which is used to make steel. They do have mineral resources like iron ore and bauxite. Iron ore is used to make steel. It's purified, all the impurities are removed, and then the iron can be used to make into steel. Bauxite is a key ingredient to make aluminum, like aluminum foil, aluminum metal. Fossil fuels, Russia is fortunate in that they are so large that they're going to have a wide array of resources, and they have the largest natural gas deposits in the world. So Russia has that to their advantage. And of course, because they have such a large coastline, they also have fish. So part of the thing to think about is Russia has these great resources. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a map real handy of Russia, but of their resources. But you think about how large Russia is, and you can probably see it better on this map, right? Here's the entire coastline, the northern coastline of Russia. So they have access to the ocean, but why are their resources difficult to use? Their resources are difficult to use because most of them are located in Siberia. And Siberia is really large, it has a terrible climate. They're located far away from industry, and the rivers are often frozen and they're not navigable. So all of those things, those transportation issues, are really what complicates the wealth of resources that Russia has available. The Ruhr, and why is that important? The Ruhr is a large coal deposit in Germany, and it's the home of an industrial center because coal is used to make electricity. And so that's an important resource that Germany has. How are oil and natural gas transported from Siberia to Eastern Europe? Mostly through pipelines. Railroads are used to transport coal. Coal is heavy and bulky, but liquid and gas transport very easily through a pipeline. So they have created these pipelines from Russia into Eastern Europe. And then of these areas, which has the most pollution? Ironically, it would be Siberia, because this is a large unpopulated region. Russia has dumped nuclear waste in this region, and then that's a special kind of pollution that lasts a very, very long time.